If you're new to the channel, then welcome, and if you're returning to the channel, then welcome back. I just want to extend a quick thank you to all of you for tuning in. So last week was a bit of an eye-opener for me, and the reason I say that is because when I made my video talking about cryptocurrency and how I made a 101% return on Dogecoin, I was expecting it to get the normal amount of views that my videos get on this channel, which is like 15 to 20 views. And currently we're sitting at like over or around 280 views, which for a channel like mine is great. And this means that crypto is a much more popular topic than I had obviously anticipated. But for those of you who have been paying attention, you probably already know that Bitcoin and a lot of the other cryptocurrencies hit their peak around 4 weeks ago now, when Bitcoin reached a price of $40,000. So that kind of begs the question, is it too late to get into investing or buying a Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrencies? And it's that question that brings us to today's video. Now, this is a common question that I have been seeing online a lot in a lot of places, specifically cryptocurrency subreddit or the Bitcoin subreddit, even from people that I know personally or just across various social media platforms. People are wondering that since Bitcoin has already hit its peak, is it too late to start getting into cryptocurrency at this point? And most people will want a technical answer to this question, and I think there are some technicals to that question, right? If you start analyzing all of the data. But instead of taking this from a technical perspective, I think there's also a lot of personal questions and personal answers that you should be seeking when you're trying to determine if it's too late to start buying Bitcoin or Dogecoin or Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency for that matter. So before I completely lay out my answer to this question, at least my personal perspective on this question, I am going to lay out more of the thoughts that I kind of asked myself when I tried to answer this question of, is it too late to get into crypto? I think the first and probably the most important crypto specific question that you should ask yourself is, what is it that you're trying to do with cryptocurrency? Are you investing it for the long term, or are you trying to make some kind of short-term gain on this? If you're trying to buy crypto because you think you might be able to make a quick buck and we'll see another run up like we did 3 weeks ago, and you'll be able to turn that money around very fast and quickly and see big gains, the reality is that ship has probably already sailed, and it's probably too late. In fact, I would say it's too late if that's your perspective. If you're purely looking for short-term gains on cryptocurrency, then yes, it's too late. I mean, if you're day trading cryptocurrency, then maybe you have an opportunity to ride some small boom bust cycles for the next year, maybe 2 years. But if you're looking for that overnight or 2 to 3 week explosion like we saw when Bitcoin reached 40,000, I just don't see that happening anytime soon. However, if you're thinking about investing or buying cryptocurrency and holding on to it for the long term, then I really don't believe that there's any such thing as too late, at least not yet. Bitcoin has been out since 2008, and all it's continued to do over the last 12, almost 13 years at this point is just continue to grow and gain more value. No matter how many times people have said that Bitcoin is going to die or something happens and this is suddenly the end of Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency, it's just defied those odds and continued to keep going. I mean, it seems like at this point every year or maybe even every month, there's some new article saying that Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is dead, but it just keeps going. So if your mentality is holding on to crypto for the long term, meaning I would say at the very least 2, probably even 3 years as a minimum, then no, it's definitely not too late to get into crypto. Another important question that you should be asking yourself, and really this question applies to any general investing, is, are you prepared to lose everything that you're putting into your investment? Now, of course, I'm not implying that you should drop your entire savings account or your complete bank account for that matter into cryptocurrency or any other investment, but you should have put aside a certain amount that you're willing to risk. And that amount should be something that mentally you're comfortable with losing all of it. Now, of course, that would suck if it actually happened, and we don't want that to happen. But if it actually did happen, you'd want to make sure that it's not going to completely ruin your life or break your bank. And while that's not specifically related to crypto, it is something you should be thinking about anytime that you're making an investment, no matter how safe you think that investment is. Because as the pandemic showed, anything can happen. Now, getting back to kind of crypto thoughts specifically, another thing that I've been noticing is that a lot more people and this is a bit anecdotal, I'm talking about people that I've seen online on various forums, people that I know personally, even other people in the YouTube space that I've been watching videos of, they're approaching cryptocurrency and Bitcoin with a much more long-term mindset. And this goes back to kind of our first point, or rather my first point that I was making, which is if you're investing over the long term, then you're likely to see gains or increased value from that. And that is a mindset that a lot of people, or a lot more people lately, seem to be adopting. Some are seeing cryptocurrency as a place to hold or store their cash, and other people are seeing it as a currency of the future that they want to get into now because we're probably going to continue to see it grow over time, and they'll gain value on already kind of being in that cryptocurrency market. And then you have, the media, whenever they hype up cryptocurrency, we see the price skyrocket like we did earlier this month. And what ends up happening there is, of course, people exit this kind of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin market when Bitcoin has reached a new record high because they want to sell off all of their Bitcoins, they've made a nice profit, and maybe they think that Bitcoin will never reach another high again. But the other side of that coin, in terms of what's happening, is more and more people see that Bitcoin is having some longevity, and we're seeing these record highs in some kind of pattern. So more and more people buy Bitcoin, especially during this time period, and invest in it. That way, they get to be part of the next super crazy Bitcoin run up when it reaches $80,000, and they're hoping to make a big cash out on that. So it's kind of this weird relationship where when Bitcoin reaches a new record high and a bunch of people sell to get out of it, more people come in because they want to be part of that next wave, that next Bitcoin crazy price run up. But in order to be a part of that, you're going to have to hold on to your cryptocurrency for a little while. And again, that's giving people a more long-term outlook on investing or buying cryptocurrency. Now, when it comes to the actual Bitcoin price run-up that we saw, one thing I didn't mention last week that I've actually been thinking about since that video is kind of what is some explanation for why we saw such a high price run up so quickly. One contributing factor, and possibly a big contributing factor in my opinion, could be some of the financial uncertainty that was brought upon by the pandemic, as well as some of the economic stimulus that was put into the United States economy, as well as I'm sure other economies around the country and around the world. A lot of money has been pumped into the United States economy. And frankly, when it comes to the effects of the pandemic, I believe we're still kind of in the short term of what the fallout will be and what will be some of the effects, the long-term effects of the pandemic on the economy itself. Certainly one fear is the potential for higher inflation than we've seen in past months and that we could possibly see in upcoming months and even years. Of course, another thing that's consistently brought up is the weakening of the US dollar. And while some of that sentiment might be on the fringe in some cases, one way that has come into the economic light in terms of being able to hedge against some of those effects has been cryptocurrency. And I think that's one possibly big contributing factor as to why we saw such a high Bitcoin run up at the beginning of this year. Now, my last point that I want to bring up, which is possibly one of the more important points about cryptocurrency in general, the question, is cryptocurrency the future? And of course, this is, again, just my personal take, but I would say my answer to that question is yes, it absolutely is. Now, that doesn't mean Bitcoin or Ethereum or even our beloved Dogecoin is going to be the future, but I do think that some form of digital currency or cryptocurrency will be the future for payments. And when it comes to Bitcoin, I think that that is a cryptocurrency that probably has the highest chance of succeeding. See, Bitcoin is kind of like how Tesla is in the electronic vehicle market. Bitcoin just already has the name behind it. It's already got the marketing behind it. It's already got a lot of the infrastructure behind it. And it is the cryptocurrency, which is why every time you mention cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is basically synonymous with that. I mean, just think about how many online retailers are accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment, how many payment processors are integrating cryptocurrency and Bitcoin as acceptable payment methods. Wallets are getting more popular, hardware wallets are getting more popular. I mean, even financial institutions and banks have been studying and mining and researching cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies basically since their creation, their inception into the mainstream. So when all of that infrastructure is moving around supporting digital currency or cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, and everything that comes along with it, all of that technology, that's a good sign that things are definitely moving that direction, and that Bitcoin is the stuff, or cryptocurrency rather, is the stuff of the future. So finally, to just answer your question in the most simple format, is it too late to get into cryptocurrency, or is it too late to get into Bitcoin? The overall answer is no. Now, of course, that answer is from the perspective of, are you going to invest long term? To which the answer should be yes. Set aside some money, and a reasonable amount that can get you started, and go out there, buy some crypto, and I'll see you all on the moon.